Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. Happy New Year to everyone. In this video, I'm going to go over my December 2024 budget. And what I do is I track my expenses, income, and net worth. And what we're looking at right now is a Google Docs spreadsheet. I'll leave a link below to it, and you're welcome to use it to track your own expenses and income as well. And what you can see is I track my expenses every time I make a purchase. I make a line item, put the date, the business, the amount, and then I put a category for it because I want to see where my money is going to. And you can see here there's nothing that really sticks out for December, except for December is a tough month, I think, for everybody because of the holidays. And two things hit in December for me all at once, which is my phone bill. If we can find that here, it's somewhere. There it is. It's on Mint Mobile in the third line. This is my expenses for the whole year, and I'll leave a link below if you want to sign up for Mint Mobile. I use it and I think it's great. It's about $18 a month when you factor in all the taxes, and like I said, Mint has been great. My previous provider was AT&T, and it was about $100 a month, so this is a big savings for me. And also another thing is I pay my insurance. I pay that every 6 months, so I got hit in December, so I get hit in June and December of every year with Progressive here. Then every month I get hit with this, my dependent expenses. I have a 20-year-old son who is in college, and I help out with his expenses, and so I get hit with that. He has one more year of college, so that will be a relief on my expenses. And another thing that hit me in December was I rescued a dog, a black lab mix, she was 1 year, actually 1 day away from being euthanized. When she got picked up by the Humane Society where she was at, she was in St. Joe, Missouri. She bit the person for the Humane Society who was trying to pick her up. I think she was just so excited. She's so playful and sweet that she was placed as a bite risk. So, but I can see why, because she's so playful and she likes to play with toys and things that if your hands get in the way or you try to wrestle with her, she can nip you. So anyway, there's an expense here. We're going to see more expenses for food and of course more vet visits and things like that. And then another thing I did in December was I paid extra on my mortgage. Right now my mortgage payment is like $12.75, right around there. So what I'm doing is I'm adding more to it. So over $700 went to the principal to get rid of that mortgage that I have. So you can see some gifts in here, some restaurant expenses in here, but nothing too crazy. This was a windshield on a vehicle, not cheap, but you don't want to have a totally cracked windshield. So that's what that was for. So just to total up everything, my expenses for December were $5,580, which it's on the high side. We'll go back a little bit. We'll look at November and see where I was at. See, not even quite 5,000 there. We'll look at October, so just over 5,000. And here I was under 4,000 in September. That would be nice if I could keep that going. I know once I pay my house off, that's going to be a big saver. Of course, I'll still have property taxes and insurance, but it's going to help to drop my expenses significantly. So we've covered the expenses side. Let's take a look at the income side. For so many years, I just had my W-2 and maybe a little bit of interest from savings accounts, but we'll just go over this real quick and kind of show you what changed, at least in my philosophy, a little bit with income. I did own a rental home at one time, and wow, I was glad to be out of that because people really sell real estates, and especially like having rentals is just being so easy, and you cash flow X amount of dollars. And for me, I was like cash flowing probably like $250 maybe on the rental home, but I wasn't really getting close to that because when you count in capex and things like that or vacancies, I don't think I was making anything I was negative cash flowing on that house, and I know it. And I was so glad to get rid of that, and also to put up with tenants. It was a complete nightmare. So I'm going to show you my income side that I'm tracking everything like interest. I'm carrying a lot of cash, and I don't really. It depends on your situation, but most people don't even have $400 to cover an emergency. So I'm not really doing it too wrong, but maybe carrying too much cash. We'll get into that a little bit later. But we'll just go through this, and you can see like some of these big interest. This is just interest from holding cash from these three. So $243 of it. Also Synchrony, so you can add another $84. But here's what I added probably in the last like 5 years or so were dividend paying investments. This is a lot easier in my opinion than rentals. It's much more passive, and especially if you have it in like an index fund and you're getting dividends from it, it's much more passive than owning individual positions, which Kroger, Black Hills, Pinnacle, Aflac, these are all individual positions. But you can see all these kind of little paychecks that are rolling in for me every month. And then I'm even counting, like if I find a penny, like out on walks, I've covered that. More dividends here. I do surveys at Swag Bucks, and I see what I made total. It was a total of $75. So I redeemed $25 three times for PayPal and got that in cash from Swag Bucks. I'll leave a link below, and it helps me out too. I get a little bit of credit for the stuff you do. I think there's like a $3 sign up bonus that I get. So for Swag Bucks, I recommend it if you're looking for something you can do from home and make a few extra dollars. I highly recommend it. Just doing surveys and things like that on there. And then we'll go over more dividends. And here is my paycheck. This is net of 401k, taxes, and my insurance. So you can see there's my first paycheck. I get paid in the middle and the end of the month. You can see here's a whole bunch of dividends that rolled in here after the paycheck. And look at that big one right there from Schwab's U.S. Dividend Equity ETF, or better known as SCHD, at $946 that just rolled in. What I do with these dividends when they go into my account is I buy more shares of that company. So in the case of SCHD, I bought $946.15 more of that. So it's going to pay me more and more in the coming years. And then we'll look at something else here like cashback FNBO. That's my credit card. It's a 2% cashback. So I was able to redeem $50 right there. And then here I got two $25 surveys, so $50 right there from surveys. And then YouTube, here's my YouTube income. I don't make nearly as much as what a lot of other people make, and that's okay because I truly do not do these videos for the money. I do it to show people how to track your expenses, how to grow your gap, and possibly where to invest that money. I'm trying to inspire you guys and maybe find a younger version of myself. I'm 51 years old, and that's helped me along. I think time is one of the best assets you can have for building wealth, and that's why I'm probably a little bit further ahead than some of my listeners is I am older. And here is a monthly paying dividend that I received from BST. And this one next time is going to be over $500. At the end of January, I'll be getting over $500. So if you don't believe me, stick around. A month later, watch the video. You're going to see that I received that. And then here's a gift of cash that I got for over Christmas, or just, the cumulative of gifts in cash there. And then let's scroll down here. Here's my second paycheck. And then more dividends. So you can see all these income sources I have. Normally we only have the W-2, maybe a little bit of interest from savings accounts, but look at all these dividends. I'm trying to build these bigger and bigger and really have the dividends replace my W-2 income, especially after I pay off my house. So you can see here are the totals for the W-2 income. Here's the total of the dividends in taxable brokerage. There's a big difference between that because I have IRAs and I don't count those right now because I can't access it. And again, what I do with those dividends is I just reinvest those back into those stocks and ETFs. Here's the total number for savings account interest, $328.35. Here's the surveys again. And again, I'll leave a link below for swag bucks. If you sign up, I get a $3 bonus. And again, I don't make a lot of YouTube. I don't even make $100 a month. And to me, that's fine. And I'll take the $100 every couple months. That's fantastic. And you know what I'm going to do with it? I'm just going to save it or invest it. So, and it's due to you guys watching these videos. I really do appreciate it. So please click the like button for just the transparency that I'm showing you guys of, you know, my expenses and income, and just kind of showing you how I do it. And hopefully I'm inspiring you guys. So here's kind of the bad news with this. For the month of December is my W-2 gap. I like to spend less than my W-2 income. And we can see here again, it's the W-2 income, just right about $5,700. And I spent $5,580, so here's the gap. But the good news with that is that I had, you know, things like the surveys, the YouTube income, the interest, as well as the dividends to help that out. And so then I showed the gap with the interest and the surveys, Facebook, and YouTube. That's what it looks like right now, not including the dividends. So that helps me not, you know, burn into cash or anything like that. So if I was, my gap was in negative, even if I was negative 500, I'd still be positive with those items. So let's just take a look at the, let's take a look at kind of like the highlights. I kind of put this in yellow to kind of show a couple things. Like I mentioned, I use that FNBO Evergreen credit card. It's 2% cash back. I'm not trying to plug them. Just find a cashback credit card and try to even put your, you know, most of your expenses on there. Like if you have a cable bill, you have an electric bill, things like that. I put that on my credit card and get 2% cash back on as much as I can. And again, I use Mint Mobile. It's less than $20 a month. Again, I'll leave a link below if you want to sign up. I think I get like $90 credit, something like that, if you sign up for it. And then the surveys, those paid me $75, and I also like submit receipts, you know, things like that. And then my dividends again paid me $2,822.21, and those are taxable dividends, not including my 401k IRA. And then I had $328 in savings interest. And then just kind of let you know my background. I have a paid off car. I have no student loans or credit card debt at this time. There was a time where I had car payments. My ex-wife had a student loan. I had a small student loan. We paid those off, like I think within a year or two, after we both kind of got our corporate jobs. We weren't making much money. Our first jobs that we got before year 2000, we were making like $26,000 a year, and we were able to pay off our credit card loans. I think things have changed drastically with, you know, the student loans have gotten more expensive, things like that. But yeah, we were in credit card debt as well. I think we had, I think it was like the student loans were like $15,000. I think we had like $10,000 in credit card debt. We paid that off in like 2 years, and then once we had that paid off, we always had a surplus because there's two of us working, and we would always invest into our 401k and our IRAs, and we opened up a taxable brokerage account right at the point where we had a problem, a quote problem, where we had about $100,000 in cash, and we literally didn't know what to do with it. And I say that, I mean, I'm not trying to brag or anything. It was just within our lifestyle, we were pretty modest. We were making decent money, and we just didn't, you know, with our gap, we just put it into the savings account. But we educated ourselves, and then we opened up a Vanguard account and started buying ETFs like VTI and VU. And then here, like I mentioned before, with the principal, added more to it. On this line, here's my mortgage, but my mortgage is about $1,275 right now. It's going to go up because of the taxes are going to go up on it because I live in new construction and it catches up with it. So it's going to be closer to about $1,500, $1,600. But I made a $2,000 payment to try to pay it off. So that's one of the things I'm doing right there. Added $100 more from the prior month to the mortgage principal. So let's go on over to the expenses breakdown. You can see it just visually that housing is my biggest expense. Insurance was big this month because, again, I pay it every 6 months, and the miscellaneous is going to remain higher with my son's expenses. Right there, at 45 was actually a little bit lower. It can go as high as $700 for the month. Pet expenses will be going up a little bit because of the rescue that I got. And then restaurant was a little bit higher because of just the holidays and things like that. Transportation costs were higher with that windshield. And utilities should be pretty much, I think January might be a little bit higher because it's colder where I live. And then gifts, of course, will be going down in January. Hopefully that gap can be higher. We can make it higher in January of 2025. Let's see what it was in January 2024. I know I track things a little bit differently on that sheet. So yeah, a little bit different. So my expenses were $4,000. I would have to do some math. So it's about 55, so $1,500 at least. I had a gap there. Hopefully I can have that in January 2025. You can see I've added more detail to this sheet. So let's go over to the net worth statement to close out the video. And as I alluded to before, I've been a little bit older. I'm 51. I've been investing for longer, so you can see these numbers. And so Vanguard, like I said, once we had that big gap and we had that cash we didn't know what to do with, we went and opened up, an IRAs and taxable brokerage account over at Vanguard, which I still have. Since I'm divorced, it was pretty much my net worth was slashed in half in 2022. So this is just for me, not including a spouse or partner or anything like that. This is just my net worth. So at Vanguard, again, I have a taxable Roth and a traditional IRA. That's the total rounded to the nearest $100 at the close of December 31st. And then over at M1, I have an IRA, and this is an old 401k I had with my prior employer it was my employment years of pretty much 1996 until 2019. And I didn't max out my 401k for most years. I did not. Well, there were some I did. And right now, I am not maxing out my current 401k. And that's with T. Rowe Price, where I have it in an S&P Fidelity index. So it's kind of strange that the Fidelity investment held over at T. Rowe, but it's in FXAIX. If you're curious, nothing else, no bonds, nothing like that. So in Synchrony, this is my 6-month emergency fund earning 4.1%. Capital One, this is like my 2-month cushion. I keep in a savings account there, getting 3.8%, I believe it's at. And then M1 taxable. You guys are probably very familiar with that because that's where I do most of my videos, is focusing on the dividend income from this portfolio, and that's where most of these dividends are from this portfolio over here. And the dividends from Vanguard from taxable, that's VXUS, VTSAX, and VU. So these three right there, over $1,000 it's spit off over at Vanguard, and then the rest of them came from the taxable M1. It was like over $1,750 for that, for dividends just for December alone. So, and then over at M1 at 4%, I have a 1-year emergency fund. And again, I kind of mentioned that I carry probably too much cash. It's over $90,000. And the reason for that is I work in IT, and I've just seen waves and waves of layoffs, or what they call RIFs, reduction in force. And I've been the survivor of dozens of those different rounds of layoffs. And I've just seen people lose their jobs and the misery and the pain they've gone through. And that has caused me to have a huge cushion in case something like that happens. To try to keep the expenses low, keep cash on hand, because you just don't know when you're going to be able to find your next job. And I track home equity here. I debate whether I should even track this. This doesn't home equity doesn't do a darn thing for me whatsoever. You can't like take a brick out of your home and help it to get help from it. I guess you could take a HELOC on your home, which you're gonna owe on that and pay interest. But without the home, my net worth is 1.6 million, but with it, it's 1.7 million. It was at 1.8. Let's look at last month and take a look. It was at 1.8. And the reason for the dip is because of the stock market has taken a dip, because most of my net worth is wrapped up into the stock market. So let's take a look at the change, the 1 month change, as I just went to the November tab to show you. I've gone down in net worth $52,800, and you look at that like you think, oh my God, you lose over $50,000 in your net worth. But to me, it's just another month. It doesn't matter, because let's just take a look at some of the other months and look at November and see where I went from there. Scrolled over, we'll see the difference. Like the change from October, I was up $85,900. Let's look at from September to October. We'll take a look. In most months, I'm up. There's a small change of positive 3,000. Look at September, maybe just a couple more. Just kind of give you an example. Up 26,000 there, and we'll look at August. The change there from July to August, up 35,000. So you can see I'm trending upwards, but December was not a great month. But look at though the change over 1 year from December 2023, up $293,400. That's still factoring in that minus 52,000. And look at the 2 years from December 2022, up over $500,000. My net worth has gone up over $543,000 just in 2 years, and that is thanks to the stock market and just my wealth just compounding. And once you get to a certain point, like when I have those good months, it's like November, that's more than my net pay right there, much more than my net pay of 85,000 just in 1 month. But look at the changes over the year. I don't make $293,000 a year, not in a long shot at all. I make a pretty modest income. The secret to what I do is I have a gap most months, and I take that gap and I invest it, as well as also taking a percentage out of every single one of my paychecks to contribute to my 401k. And then the rest of it is just the snowball of everything else that I already own, and just a compounding. So that's all I had to show you guys for this video. Again, please click the like button. Just for the transparency, I'm showing you guys everything about my finances here. And also subscribe so you don't miss future videos. My next video is going to be a buy video. You'll see what the average Joe picks for stocks. I'm going to pick 5 stocks and put $20 into each of those for a total of $100. I know that does not sound like a lot, but I want to show you guys that even $100 investing does move the needle. So thanks again, everyone, for sticking to the end of the video, and always for watching these and making comments, everything. And it just means the world to me when you guys watch these videos. So thanks again. I hope everyone has a great day. Everybody take care.